I started working for McDonald's when I was 17. My parents told me that I had to get a job or my car was getting taken away from me. So I immediately went in there and applied, and the next day I was part of the crew. What really brings me to McDonald's, it's my people, it's my customers. I've had a lot of opportunity. I went from being a crew person and I've moved up all the way up to being a store manager. So yeah, just the opportunity of moving up, and it's a wonderful company to work for.
Show those people that no matter what they've done, no one is ever too far gone, and that you're always ready to love them and welcome them with open arms. I pray for everyone in our country and around the world whose lives are affected by drugs. Please reveal yourself to them and pour your love upon them. I pray that you'd be with these students as they leave this rally later and continue on with their lives. Guide them and encourage them to keep making the right decisions. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Today, we have approximately 55% of our student population enrolled in the M.A.D.E program. Like a header, what do you think about being surrounded by other people who don't do drugs?
My name is Ethan Nelson, and my favorite thing is focusing on the druggies and the drug-free.
Alright, my name is Jared Carter, and my favorite part about being M.A.D.E is being part of something bigger than I am, and feeling like I belong to something.
What has made you want to be a part of M.A.D.E?
Just to be a part of something big, to bring everyone together and just show that a group of all of us can do something and make a change.
It gives us a good chance to get together and celebrate that we're doing the right thing and to make good choices.
It's able to be a part of something bigger and be able to join and have fun with the people who are also drug-free.
Because I want to make a better future for myself being drug-free.
I think it's a good thing to be a part of M.A.D.E. It shows other people that you're drug-free and it helps you to stay drug-free.
Well, my faith is an important part of it. I go to a Christian school because I am a Christian and I like having those values all around me. And my body is a temple and I like to take care of it. And I want to follow Jesus and I want to inspire others to do the same thing.
Well, I definitely have tried to recruit other people to join M.A.D.E. It's an amazing program. Whenever I've tried to approach them in doing so, I basically just describe my experience with the program. I just say how many things we're involved in as a community and just what all we get involved in, how good it is to be a part of it, how many schools are involved, and just how much everyone loves to be a part of that.
I have a question, and I really want everyone to participate if you can. So, if you have been affected by drugs or you know somebody that has, can you stand up or raise your hand, please? And take a look around. see many people sitting right now. So if you're worried that you don't have somebody, there's always somebody. Like, I have all these people behind me right now, and I know that I have a lot of people standing here today that are with me. I just want you guys all to know that there are people, so don't be scared to tell your story, because you never know who will help, and that's why I support M.A.D.E, because they support us. Thank you.
My name is Carter Hill, and I'm from Zany
Being a part of drug-free means my teachers and instructors know that I am drug-free. My employers also know that I am drug-free. Hickory Ross encourages you to be drug-free indeed.
I recently graduated from Ohio Northern in May, and I want to tell you it doesn't get easier. Once you graduate high school, there are more peer pressure. There is more chances to say yes to those drugs. But remember this moment, remember these 4 years, and remember being a part of this drug-free club. Use that as an excuse for the rest of your life. Say no, don't give in, all it takes is one time. And I want to let you know, I want you to be listening ears for people that don't have it. A lot of times drugs can start because people feel alone. People feel like they don't have anyone that listens to them. They feel like they don't have anyone that cares. So use this and use this community that you guys have built to be great listeners for everyone.
If you are a senior ambassador, would you come down and join me up front? If you are a senior ambassador, I'd like to give you the opportunity to be in the front row for today's concert.
Thank you, everyone. Remember,
And this is amazing. I appreciate you guys listening. I'd like to say, just if you can walk away from this with anything, you always have a sense of community. All these friends you made, these teachers and the staff members and faculty from all over. I mean, I wish I had this sense of community when I was growing up. I'm so proud of you guys for sticking to it. Thank you.
Give it up one more time for me, American Idol.
I'm a committed person who, at a point in his life, had to change some of the commitments that he made. I've always been committed. I've always been an all or nothing type of person. So when I was actively using drugs, I was all in. There wasn't, I didn't want no parts of nothing good. I didn't want to change. I believed what I was doing was only harming myself. And through a process of recovery, I came to see that really a lot of the decisions that I made were in fact affecting people. And so I realized that I had to change my commitments. And so I'm no longer a selfish person, no longer a resentful person. I am now a person who is committed to the service of others and trying to make my community, my family, and myself better.
93,000 people in 2020 lost their lives to a substance overdose. 93,000 people, okay? That's in the country. In Ohio, 5,200 people, over 5,200 people lost their lives to a substance overdose. And right here, just in Ross County, 54 lives were lost to a substance overdose. And that's a lot of people, y'all. And stopping those numbers, lowering those numbers starts with you guys. It starts with, like Derek was talking about, the commitment that you all have made to be drug-free, to share your stories. You know, that for me is just as important as making that commitment to stay drug-free, is sharing your experiences with family members who have struggled with this disorder.
We have 80% total enrollment, with our freshmen in the lead with 87%. We take pride in our chapter of Drug Free Club because we have so many students committing to staying drug-free and making a change for our generation. Drug Free Clubs has changed the culture in our school.
My name is Carly Dyer. I'm a senior at Huntington High School, so is Cheyenne, and I'm going to be reading her speech. According to a recent study, 19.4% of Americans aged 12 and older have used illegal drugs or misused prescription drugs within the last year. You may not think that's very many, but that's roughly 53 million people. Those same people have families of their own that have had to watch their loved ones struggle to fight a never-ending battle. Some of you may have a friend or family member who has won or lost the battle against drugs, and you may know someone who is still fighting. My friend Cheyenne has someone dear to her who is fighting and came out victorious. This is her story. When I was probably about 12 or 13, my mom got a new boyfriend. As far as I knew, he smoked weed and that was it. A little while after they started their relationship, they started living together. They bounced around a bit from mobile home to apartment to living with someone else. My mom couldn't really work because she became pregnant and gave birth to my brother in 2017 and then gave birth to my sister in 2018, so she relied on her boyfriend for support. To make a long story shorter, they ended up homeless and got tangled up in drugs. As a young girl starting her life and becoming her own person, it was really hard not being able to do things that most teenagers do with their moms, like going shopping or talking about girly things. I have my stepmother in my life who I love dearly, but I still miss my biological mom because I had such a strong bond with her before her life fell apart. It hit me like a bag of bricks when my dad first told me that my mom was on drugs. I'll never forget that moment. He told me after I had just walked down the road to meet her so I could talk with her for a few minutes. I was a young girl, but I had known that my mom was homeless and had little to no money to her name, but it had never even crossed my mind that the woman I looked up to my whole life, the woman that I thought was so strong, was on drugs. There have been many milestones and holidays that I didn't get to share with my mom while she was out on the streets fighting her battle with drugs, and I will never get those moments back. There were countless nights where I sat alone in the dark, crying and hoping that my mom would eventually get her life together and find a place to live so I can spend time with her again. It's really hard going from having someone in your life who meant so much to you to living a life where that person is never involved. Some of you may know from a close friend or relative that is trying to fight a drug addiction that is extremely challenging. In most cases, a person has to cut off some friends they made because they are a bad influence and will cause them to relapse. There are rehab centers dedicated to helping people fight addiction and hopefully stay clean. Although these rehab centers exist, my mom did something that few people do. She got clean on her own and has been clean since April of 2020. Even though she has been able to stay clean, she has still lived a very rough life. While she was pregnant with my youngest sister, she was living in a motel room because that was all the government could get her. My baby sister, who is only 1, has lived in motel rooms the majority of her life, and to this day, my mom is still struggling to find a place of her own to call home. Drug addiction is not something that only affects the person that is stuck in the addiction, but it also deeply affects those around them. Children with parents who are addicts have to see their parents in a light they should never have to see them in. Siblings have to see their brother or sister becoming someone they're not, and parents have to see their child destroy themselves. It is not a joke. Drugs destroy lives and the relationships a person has with their friends and family. I have somewhat built back the relationship I used to have with my mom, but I know it will most likely never be the same again. Even now, I hardly get to see my mom, and she is not able to come celebrate my achievements and milestones, but I pray that she will be able to make it to my high school graduation.
What's going on, everyone? My name's Seth Bukowski. I'm Dalton Howell. I'm Gregory Richards.
I'm Dalton Black.
And we're going to be doing the Drug Free Club's prayer for you guys, but first of all, before that, where's my husband at, baby? All right, for this, we need everyone standing up. We need everyone to stand up. It's got to be loud. Get up! This place has got to be rocking for this, all right? Ready? Here we go. Repeat after me. I am only one. But we are one. I cannot do everything. But we can do something.
Okay. I've been in drug-free clubs for 3 years since my freshman year, and I just wanted to let everyone know that although I am the one sharing my story today, it's not only mine, it's my twin sister's Harley. I feel like the spotlight has been on me because I've made a lot of speeches and I wrote a lot of essays, and I wanted to give her a shout out because she has been my whole rock and my other half through this. Growing up as the daughter and sibling of addicts, I understand that it is great privilege to be standing here today. Being in DFCA, I learned that your family and past doesn't define who you are. And if you can make positive changes, you need to do it. The people who surround yourself is who you'll become. The main reason I joined is because I felt like I was an outcast. When you meet people, the first thing you say is not going to be, hey, my parents died from drugs. This is something I don't want to define my life. When I was younger, my dad died of an overdose, and my mom and sister are still addicts to this day. I felt like everyone around me expects me to be just like them, and I won't become anything an adult. Kids are always the first ones who suffer when it comes to drugs. To have to watch your parents shoot up and pass out and wonder if they're alive, yeah, you could say that's a pretty traumatic childhood. As a child growing up, I would go up to random people's doors and knock on them and basically do my parents' dirty work. In Chillicothe, when I'm driving around, I will go by houses and be like, hey, I know that house, that's my mom's friend who lives there. It's her dealer's house. I'd spend hours by myself with my siblings while my mom and stepdad were out doing drugs. Even though going over there, I always knew that something was up, I just felt like I needed to be there for my parents. And I was really the parent and they were the kids. It was always, hey, let's go take a family ride. Those family rides were really drug runs. We'd go to the store and me and my sisters would all get excited to get a treat. My mom would put things in our pockets and tell us it's okay because it belonged to us now. I remember one time on my birthday, I had visitation days with my mom and we were at the place and she got in a fight with someone because she owed them drug money. Yeah, that was some birthday gift. Over time, my parents would go in and out of jails. Eventually, that turned into prison. And when my dad came home one time, he wasn't home for long. After going through withdrawal, he shot up so much his body couldn't take it anymore and he died. It's been hard to know that I don't have him and I will never see him again. I get upset when I see kids and they have parents and it makes me angry because that's not something I'll ever have. I look back at pictures of him and videos wishing I could just go talk to him. If only he knew what I have become, I think he'd be proud. Every year on Father's Day, I look up and I tell him I miss him. Every year on his birthday, it's extremely hard for me because that's another year gone that I don't have with him. His death anniversary is between my birthday and his birthday, which is coming up on November 26th. It's just another thing that just comes with the drugs, the heartbreak after the death. My mom met another man, but the story was the same. No money, no food, no life. I can remember when we had any money, it would go straight to drugs and nothing for the kids. Sometimes we would have to eat dog food with water, and that would be our cereal. If we had real food, it was what they wanted. So picture a 3-year-old eating hot wings and drinking beer. The first time I ever drank beer, I remember it was because it was all they had. Imagine how you are when you guys get drunk, all over the place and crazy. But you guys are older, and you could think you can handle yourself. Well, that was me, probably like 3 or 4. We'd have cops in and out of the house, druggies constantly putting us in danger, and they offered us drugs 24/7. Children of addicts have never had any security or stability in their lives. We would be promised to go out and do fun things, but when the time came, we would only just be let down. And anytime we'd ask, it would turn into a screaming match. We don't know normal. Normal for us can be fear and dysfunction and abuse. We're all afraid all the time, and when you're around drugs, nothing goes good. I remember feeling and thinking that the reason they did drugs was because I wasn't a good kid and they needed to get away because they didn't love me. Along with trauma comes anxiety and depression. We never had been heard out as kids. We seek approval and worry if they're not liked or loved. We try to control everything, so the anxiety is something wrong and we need to settle it. We live in conflict. Not one day of my life has been easy. It has been a struggle constantly, and it's hard seeing my friends and their relationship that they have with their parents. It's really hard because I wish I could have that. They will never be there. They won't be there when I graduate, when I get married, or when I have kids. They won't be there for anything, and it's the little things that I want them to know. My sister, many of you guys know her, she was doing really well and was going to graduate and go to hockey in college. She dumped her boyfriend for this man who was in his late 40s to early 50s, and she was 19. He manipulated her to do all kinds of awful things, and she got back into drugs really bad. Her doing drugs started with my parents when they got her addicted, but this man took it to a whole new level. I remember wanting to be just like her when I grew up. We would go shopping, do our nails, and she would teach me how to braid and go to our favorite place, McDonald's, so that I could get a McFlurry. One day, she just started to lose interest. She became a different person, and it was scary. She would be really abusive and start to be defensive anytime we asked her about drugs. When she moved to South Carolina, she told me stories about how he took her to shacks in the hill and she would have guys pay them to sex traffic her. This is what drugs do to you. I cannot express this enough that she was just a normal girl who turned into a puppet. My grandparents quickly became my heroes in that situation. They started to take care of me and my two sisters. I have lived with them for 11, going on 12 years now, and I can't imagine where my life would be without them. Opening up about it has been really hard, and it hurts me to know that I have such a life planned for myself and my parents won't be there to see me succeed. I can't even begin to understand why they would want to do that to themselves. As a child, you really think it's your fault. Wait, hold on, I messed up. My grandma's friends who are always there for me and those people who I trust the most with my life, it's a horrible feeling for me to have to tell them, hey, that's my family and this is who I are. I always feel judged telling people about it, but the M.A.D.E program has really changed my attitude on my life. I really thought it was stupid at first, and I can't lie about that because I quickly realized that it was more than what I thought. It was about teens encouraging each other and supporting others with their own experience and what they have been through. People see me and they hear about what I've been through and they don't know what's under all of it. The feelings and the pressure that I have put on myself to be better. M.A.D.E has changed me for the better in so many ways, and I hope it can do the same for you guys too. I have a question, and I really want everyone to participate if you can. So, if you have been affected by drugs or you know somebody that has, can you stand up or raise your hand, please? And take a look around. I really don't see many people sitting right now, so if you're worried that you don't have somebody, there's always somebody. Like, I have all these people behind me right now, and I know that I have a lot of people standing here today that are with me. I just want you guys all to know that there are people, so don't be scared to tell your story because you never know who will help, and that's why I support M.A.D.E because they support us. Thank you.
Give it up for Haley. Hey, one time right here. Excuse me, I gotta get some of that. Thank you, Haley.
Guys, it's my day. Thank you so much. And I can't tell you the amount of energy that's in this room. You know, I hope I have each and every one of you coming out to the concerts at some point. I hope I can say hi to you all again someday. I mean, if I can be at the next rally, I'll certainly be here.